maybe not. We'll see what happens going forward. But yeah, that's where we're at for now. But without further ado, Silent Hill, Book of Memories. First Monday of 2023. And we're on zone 431 out of 500. $431 out of 500. Been enjoying the YouTube, but it's definitely it definitely is not easy content. Man, YouTube is so rough. Like Twitch, I can just kind of turn the stream on and do my own thing and not really have to worry about a lot of it. YouTube, there's so much. There's so much extra stuff that just wastes so much time. You have to sink so much time into it. And it's, at the end of the day, if you're not already like a giant channel with 500,000 subscribers, it just doesn't feel worth it. So, I don't know. We'll see how the future of the YouTube stuff goes. For now, I'm gonna keep doing it for as much longer as I can. Rachel, thank you so much for the 68 months. Almost 69. Almost. Damn, how perfect would it have been if the 69 month hit perfectly with my birthday, or like around my birthday? That would have been perfect. Off by 1. This is a 7-piece blood zone, and I don't think I want to do that. We're not going to start the year off like that. So I'm going to re-random. I'm going to re-roll this zone. So we're going to sit here and chat for 20 more minutes while I go through loading screens, re-randomizing this. YouTube's a slow grind for any subs, I imagine. And it's unfortunate because we've done the slow grind like multiple times now. Because there was my original YouTube channel that I deleted. And that channel had a decent amount of subscribers, like a few thousand subscribers, and a lot of my original Silent Hill playthroughs that were up on the first YouTube channel had, you know, tens of thousands of views. So that channel was doing pretty well. YouTube changed a lot of their policies and stuff. I stopped doing YouTube and I deleted that channel. And then people started re-uploading my stuff, initially without my permission. And then Dorian House contacted me to ask permission if he could re-upload stuff onto his channel. At the time, that was the Sci-Fi Guy channel. And I was like, yeah, sure. So Dorian had permission to start re-uploading, and then the Sci-Fi Guy channel grew and grew, got a bunch of subscribers, not just from my content, because Dorian also does a lot of James Cameron and Avatar and other content as well that does very, very well on his channel. So his channel did very well, got a bunch of subscribers. A lot of my re-uploaded stuff got a lot of views. And then Dorian was like, well, I want to split the James Cameron stuff and the Silent Hill stuff, made the Restless Dreams channel. So then it's like, okay, third channel now to try and do that slow grind for subscribers and views and everything. And then I started my own YouTube channel again. So now I've got an official YouTube channel that is crawling its way up from starting completely over again. And we're at about 600 subscribers right now. If you're not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, feel free to help me out. Go over there. Doesn't cost anything to sub on YouTube, unlike here on Twitch. So You can do !YT in chat if you want to link to the newer YouTube channel. And right now, I'm re-uploading all the Book of Mondays stuff. I've got some videos planned to make about the upcoming new Silent Hill games. As the new games come out, I'll absolutely be putting out a lot of new videos and content and stuff on YouTube and of course here on Twitch. So, hey, still plugging away at it. But yeah, it's been basically like 4 different channels worth of my content on YouTube trying to grow. But well. It is what it is. Just woke up in a panic attack thinking it was 9 a.m., not 9 p.m., and couldn't find my phone. God, I hate that. I hate when you, like, just don't have a concept of time when you're first waking up. It's so disorienting. Hey, Guide Mira. We got a 6-piece. Smaller zone. I'll take it. It's better than a 7-piece. Excuse me. Not even anything in there important. His Avatar channel is great. Yeah, I love Dorian's Avatar channel. And I loved the Dorian's face reveal video. Dorian's face reveal video was actually
feel free to
incredible.
Have a look around.
It was amazing.
It's good to be well supplied.
Grab some health, top off on toolkits.
Thank you kindly.
Let's see, we've got Howard early. Do I need to repair things? Nope. Stuff is actually in decent condition, so we can just go ahead and move on. Hey Nub, do you have a Discord server? You know, I'm actually in the process of putting together a new Discord server. Because Twitter might explode any day now. People are hemorrhaging. A lot of people are ditching Twitter ever since Elon took over. And you know, we can just probably go ahead and let me see. Can I make a link? Boom. So there is literally nothing there yet. But there you go. Let's see who will be the first person to join the Nub Zombie Discord channel. Kibbs and Transking and Zekbolt and Alucard. But yeah, welcome to Nub's Graveyard. There's nothing here yet. Eventually, I will get all that sorted and and that'll be kind of like, I usually post my going live stuff on Twitter. But yeah, just in case Twitter explodes or it gets bad enough to where I stop using it or anything like that, we'll have a Discord channel. So I'll announce whenever I'm going live. If you have like Silent Hill questions, I've got a thing in there where you can post Silent Hill questions and I can try and help you figure stuff out or answer things that you might have about any of the games in the series. General chat and, you know, hang out, share pictures of pets, all that good stuff. Have a good little community hangout spot. Hanging out in the graveyard. You blink? Here, I'll put it one more time in chat for anyone who missed it. But yeah, there's nothing there yet. So eventually I'll have a chat command for people to join, and stuff like that. But if you want to get in there early, you want to be in there now while there's nothing, feel free. There's a Discord? Yeah, I literally just started putting it together. Mostly with the idea that not a lot of people, not as many people are on Twitter. There's a lot of people who are never on Twitter in the first place. And of course, Twitch is not super reliable with its, you know, going live notification type things. So that way, you know, it's a spot where you can know what the plans are, if I've got planned streams coming up, whenever I'm going live, just in general, if you just to hang out and chat. Have to use a Firefox extension to be properly notified? Yeah, that sounds about right. Because I know by default, Twitch is really bad. It always has been really bad about putting out notifications and stuff to followers, even if you have notifications turned on. Yeah, that crunchy audio. Must be Monday. Must be Monday once again. When we start crunching through that audio. This could be a pain. You're the next biggest threat. Pew, 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 pew. Game audio's actually a little bit loud. Turn it down some. Try and reduce the ear crunchies. Go. 5 out of 6, come on. One more orb. One herb. Ow. Ow. Just running into a room and not having any hope of reaction time. And just almost dying. Just because something else exists in that room. What a video game. What a video game this is. Go this way to get back around. Duck. Hey, what's up, Cut? It is going pretty well. All things considered. But yeah, Happy New Year, everybody. I hope everybody had a good holiday. Our last orb. Hello? Rorschach? Like, why aren't you taking damage? I know there's like an invincibility thing here, but I thought I stepped on it first. And Schisms. Schisms immediately on the other side of a door. Literally done with the zone. All I have to do is run to the exit. And I couldn't because of Schisms. Just chilling there, ready to murder me in one hit. Got a little tipsy New Year's, but didn't do much else. Yeah, the way Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve kind of fell on weekends. For me, I started playing. Well, I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons in general for much of my life, but over the last like year or so. I've gotten Rachel and my friends here into Dungeons and Dragons, and the last like 5-6 months I had been working on a homebrew campaign that we finally started playing. So we're like 2 sessions deep on that. We started playing on Christmas Eve, and then we played another session on New Year's Eve. So that was New Year's for me. Was hanging out with friends and playing some D&D. And we broke it. I mean, it's fine. That's what everybody should come to expect. Like, D&D does not typically follow the anticipated path ever, because players do weird, unpredictable things, and you just gotta roll with it. It's fun. Kibbs, thank you so much for the 14 months. Welcome back, Kibbs. Thank you. Very much appreciate that support. If it goes as planned, something horrible is happening in the universe, right? Exactly. Nope. Not doing no combos. We got a 5-piece. 5-piece steel zone. We got a damage glitch. Now we just need to wait for Tremors to spawn. Any day now, video game. There we go.
Feel free to have a look around. I think I've got just the thing. Now don't you waste that.
Got Howard right at the very beginning.
Extra gear burning a hole in you.
Do I have things to sell? Stone Maxwell. Not really.
All exchanges are fine. Good luck out there.
But yeah, so far, I mean, I had kind of some, nothing serious, some minor health stuff kind of going on. Was feeling a little bit under the weather for a while, but a lot of that just kind of comes with this time of year. This time of year. So between that and between like all the plans and stuff with friends and family here, my holidays have been very, very chill. Although I do have to say, the number one thing that I've been sinking my time into for the past week has been Final Fantasy XI. A lot of you who've been watching me for a long time know that I'm a huge fan of Final Fantasy XI. There's a lot of MMOs that I've played in my lifetime, but Final Fantasy XI is the only MMO. Wow, that's a hell of an attack hitbox. Like, he wasn't even swinging at me. He was swinging at a different enemy and hit me behind him. But Final Fantasy XI is basically the only MMO out of all of the MMOs that I've ever played that I've really stuck to. I started playing it in 2003 and then played it almost every day up until 2013 or so. And then even after I quit playing,
Thank you.
after like 10 years of playing it consistently, I would still go back and reinstall every once in a while and play. I played back in 2016 or 2017, something like that. I started playing, I made a new character and started over on retail servers to kind of see what all of the level 99 and eye level era of the game was like, which it's very different on retail servers than how it used to be back in the like 75 level cap era, when I mostly played it. But it was still an interesting, fun game that I played for a bit, but didn't really stick on retail servers for too long after that because, yeah, it's just very different. And I always kind of preferred the level 75 era of Final Fantasy XI. There are fan servers. So for a while I was playing on one of those fan servers called Nasomi. And played that for a while and had a lot of fun with it. And then this past month, like mid-December, was a new 75 era fan server that got launched called Horizon. So I decided to make a character and start playing on Horizon, and it is such an amazing experience getting to play not only 75 era again, but playing from when a server launched, where everybody is all starting at the same time, and seeing like all the early areas super populated. Because by the time I started playing on the other 75 era fan server, Nasomi, there was already, you know, a community. Like, that server had been going for a few years. So by the time I started playing, like, it was fun, and it definitely felt, you know, like classic 75 era Final Fantasy XI. But a lot of the early zones were very empty because the majority of that game's community was already at level 75 endgame type stuff. So getting to start fresh on like day one of a level 75 era server at the same time as everybody else, and seeing all the new players in the, you know, early areas and everyone grinding out all the early stuff, really took me back to the North American launch of Final Fantasy XI in 2004. So it was cool getting to kind of experience that again after such a long time. So nostalgia hit me like a ton of bricks, and I've just been sinking all of my time into playing Final Fantasy XI again. I'm halfway considering if I'm going to keep playing it or not, because I have so many plans and things that I want to do still for my stream this year. But part of me also wants to just be like, fuck it, it's my channel, and I know it might not be what most people want to see. But I should just play what I want to play.
I think I've got just the thing.
So I might stream Final Fantasy XI. I might just keep that as like my own personal me time game. We'll see. We'll see what winds up happening. I don't really have a decision yet. Honestly, right now, I kind of feel like I'm just sitting on my hands, thinking of something to do until the new games come out. Most likely it's going to be Silent Hill 2 Remake first. We don't really have like release dates for everything yet, so we don't really know what game is going to be first. But damn, where the fuck are all the keys? That one right there? There it is. But yeah, as far as like Silent Hill content on the channel, you know, I still want to try and do story playthroughs and stuff for the existing games, for all the Silent Hill series that's already there. and I was doing some of the games. We did 1 through 4 and Origins kind of towards the end of 2022. But I haven't had new things to say about these games when I do these playthroughs for quite some time. So part of me is still like somewhat not really burnt out on doing it, but I don't know how interested people still are in me doing story playthroughs when I don't really have a whole lot new that I'm going to be able to talk about. But once new stuff starts coming out, once the remake comes out, once any of the other announced games come out, we have so much to do. Because I'm going to be doing tons of research. I'm going to be playing the games over and over to put together everything for in-depth lore playthroughs. I'm going to be learning to speedrun all the new games. So I'm just sort of like, when it comes to Silent Hill, outside of finishing Book of Memories, I don't really have a whole lot else to do with the series until we get the new games. I need a key to open the exit, and I have no idea where this last fucking key is. It's not in this pile where I died. I think people enjoy the lore playthroughs because you've got a good voice for it. I mean, sure. I get that. But, like, is me staying up for 17, 18 hours and straining my voice and fucking up my sleep and my health really worth it when it's something that there's 6 to 10 other existing playthroughs from over the years where I have the same voice and I still talk about all the same things? Like, is it really worth me still doing that when I don't really have anything new to say or do? Like, so much of me is really just, man, I can't wait for these games to come out. Third room at the bottom, there was a red furniture. This room over here. Was there? Oh, this is probably it. Yeah. It was behind the stupid flesh lips. Good eye, Alucard. Enjoy the chat interactions and answering questions. Feel the lore playthroughs are a good way to do that. That's true. Because even though a lot of the stuff that like, most of the questions that people ask, I've answered at some point, but every once in a while, we do get, new stuff. New things that people will ask or new things to consider. Yeah. Like how to use ampules. Rushmore, thank you so much for 34 months. To think it was last year I saw a nub stream. Yeah, it's been a whole year. Rushmore, thank you so much for 34 months of support. Thank you, thank you. Very much appreciated. Hope you're doing well. Happy New Year. This is a Silent Hill game? Yep, Gunny. This is a Silent Hill game. This is the last Silent Hill game to ever be fully released. This is the most current Silent Hill game that was not canceled or a gambling machine.
I know what you are. Oh.
This is Silent Hill Book of Memories for the PlayStation Vita. I'm sorry about your ears, but this game sucks. Yay, we did it. Yeah, that crunchy. Extra crunchy. And because we killed the Steel Guardian, we actually get an ending and credits, even though it's not actually over. So let's watch this random ending. Why not?
I wanted. Money came first, of course. A series of lottery wins eliminated the need to work, giving me ample time for hobbies.
Looks like Dio.
A freaking rock star with
That is like a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure panel. Like the shadow covering the face.
The fun never stopped.
The fucking
until my girlfriend
muscles.
left me.
You can't tell me that's not Dio Brando.
No, the fun never stopped. She and I got married, and I quit the band to set out on the greatest adventure of our lives. We traveled the globe, rock climbing in Australia, base jumping in New Zealand, cliff diving in Mexico. Publishers begged me to write a book about my life, something I was pretty good at by that point. My wife and I retired from the public eye to enjoy the fruits of my wealth. Exotic pets, private shows from AAA entertainers. I gave her the perfect life. Until one day I walked into my study to find that bitch writing in this very book. She said she wanted a change, a simpler life. So I wrote her out. From that moment, I realized I couldn't trust anybody. If anyone found out about the book, what it did, they'd stop at nothing to get their hands on it. I had to protect myself. Known enemies were easy, but who knew what else was out there? I hired a private army to survey my compound, orders to shoot on sight. Nobody in, nobody out. At last, I'm truly safe.
Didn't realize this game actually had a story. I've done story playthroughs.
This is impossible! Who's doing this?
I have done in-depth story playthroughs. There's some up on my YouTube channel and archived here on Twitch. You want to do !YT or !VOD? Essentially, this game's story ends after the first 21 zones. Like, if you play the first 21 zones, you play through all the story, you get all the main notes, and then you get an ending and you get credits just like that. But then it just procedurally generates zones all the way up to zone 500. Only ever seen you do the endless grind? Yeah, well, I don't really bother doing in-depth story playthroughs for this game anymore, because playing it to grind to 500 is already way more than I want to play this game. I'm not going to also do story playthroughs on top of that. So yeah, I've done them before. You can look up the archives if you want to see the story playthrough of this game, or my first time ever playing this game. All of that is archived. But yeah, I definitely don't bother with doing that kind of stuff anymore, because the grind to 500 is everything. That's all I'm focused on doing until I'm done with this piece of shit. Still planning to destroy your copy of Book of Memories after you reach Zone 500? That's the idea. That's the idea. Fuck. Just casually hit me for 99% damage. Imagine if this was your first Silent Hill game. It must have been. Statistically, there is some poor child out there who only had a PlayStation Vita, and their friend told them how cool Silent Hill is, and they looked it up and saw Silent Hill Book of Memories. Get out of my way, Mira. And then this was all they were able to play. Like, someone out there must have had that experience. Why do people like this stupid franchise? Yeah.
Dirk, come on. Have a seat. So I might as well cut to the chase. I was hoping you could tell me about the missing cat.
Move. There might be more stuff over here. Stupid dark enemies. Turning off my flashlight so I can't see which containers have items, because that's a super fun mechanic. Hey, you know, these containers that have the keys that are absolutely necessary to progress. What if there's enemies that, just by being anywhere near them, make it so you cannot see where those items are that are necessary to progress? How fun is that? Imagine playing like the original Silent Hill or like Silent Hill 2, and whenever there's a particular enemy near you, you just can't see or pick up necessary key or puzzle items. Oh boy, a kidney stone. That's what I always wanted. At some point, we'll get someone in here who will legit have enjoyed this without trolling. I've already come across people like that. I've already had people. I mean, I can only tell to a certain degree, like how serious or trolly somebody might be. Oh, my controller. controller stopped working. It's hard to tell, you know? But I have definitely met people, or rather talked to people online who are like, this game's not as bad as you make it out to be. Like, yeah, it's not a good Silent Hill game, but it's a good... People are like, it's fine for like a mindless dungeon crawler. Every bit as good as, you know, Diablo. And I promptly ban them and block them on all social media sites because I don't talk to crazy people. Or liars. I ain't got time for that. Even the controller doesn't want to play this game. I mean, can't really blame it. But yeah, there is people who I think were being legitimate who say like not say like this is their favorite game or anything, but who try to argue that it's not as bad as I make it out to be. And there's a lot of people who try to defend it as being like, you know, if you just kind of turn your brain off and play a dungeon crawler, it's just as good as any other dungeon crawlers. And I mean, I legitimately don't know how somebody could have that opinion on this game. Maybe if you've only played it for like 20 minutes. Somebody whose literally entire playtime of this game is 20 minutes or less, I could see you trying to be like, yeah, well, it kind of sucks, but it's just like a mindless little dungeon crawler. It's whatever. But if you sink any significant amount of time into this game, even just as like a turn your brain off dungeon crawler, this game is fucking horrible. It's horribly imbalanced. None of the stats make sense. None of the equipment or weapons make sense. Enemy abilities are horrible and unfair. Like, enemy design, level design, the repetitive procedurally generated puzzles, like no aspect of this is acceptable in my opinion. Like, this game's just horrible. It is legitimately not just like, oh, it's a bad Silent Hill game, you're just mad at it because it's, you know, you're a big Silent Hill nerd and it's not a good Silent Hill game. Like, no. I hate this game because I've spent my life playing video games, and this is one of the worst video games I've ever played. Easily. Yeah, Air Guys. I've brought up Air Guys before, which is like a PlayStation 1 game, a PlayStation 1 fighting game from like 1998 that just as like an extra little mini game threw in a dungeon crawler as part of its fighting game. And it's better in every single way as a dungeon crawler than this game. The FromSoft Kingsfield games, those are like legitimately good games. I enjoy the Kingsfield games. They're dated and they're clunky, but at their core, they are good adventure games. things like stats and weapons and damage and enemy attack patterns make sense. This game, nothing works the way it should work. Stats don't do what you think they do. Weapons don't do what you think they do. Enemies are just horribly, horribly broken and unbalanced. The game doesn't scale properly. It gives you a level cap as a player character, and then just infinitely scales all of its enemies based on the zone rather than your character. The UI, even just things like menus and the user interface, because they had to they basically were contractually obligated to make a Vita game, and they had to use touchscreen for everything. So they just make a lot of things pointlessly be touchscreen that don't need to be, because that was part of their contract. And it's how you wind up with all these touchscreen mechanics that are completely unnecessary. Like having to open and close your bag here in order to switch weapons, use med kits, use repair items. And you can, like, even just trying to touch, like, there's been so many times where I've got a weapon, it's about to break, and I'm in the middle of fighting multiple enemies. So I come over here, and I come down here to use a wrench, and if you're even too far off, like, look how far over. Look at where the touch is. Look at where exactly the finger is where I'm touching to use this wrench. And it opens and closes the bag because it's too far over to the side. So you'll be panicking, killing things, trying to repair your weapons so they don't permanently break and you just lose them. You come over here to repair your thing. Oh, you close your bag. And then your weapon breaks and you don't have a weapon. And then the enemy kills you because you can't do enough damage. Like, basic things like menus and user interface, picking up and dropping weapons. Anybody who's ever seen me kill a boss and it drops a note that you have to pick up in order to progress, and a weapon, and it drops the weapon directly on top of the note, and my inventory's full. So I'm like, okay, all I want to do is pick up the note. In a game, for example, Dark Souls. In Dark Souls, sometimes there's a message on the ground right on top of an item that you want to pick up. And you know what they do? They put a button prompt there that says switch action. So that if you want to look at the message, you can look at the message. If you want to ignore the message and pick up the item, you switch action and then you can pick up the item. This game doesn't do that. So if you're trying to interact with something and there's another item like a weapon directly on top of it, you have to pick up the weapon, move away from the note, walk over to a random spot, drop your weapon, come back over to the note, pick it up, and then go back and pick your weapon back up. Like, simple shit. Like menus and interfaces, picking up and using weapons, like all of those things don't work the way that they should. Like, more than just the gameplay, the core gameplay of this game being bad or the story being bad, like, everything about it is wrong. the way that it tracks progress. So like, it's a dungeon crawler RPG. I have played a ton of dungeon crawlers and a ton of RPGs over the course of my life. Even going back to something like Final Fantasy 1. Playing Final Fantasy 1 as a child on the NES, you know what you could do? You could go into your menu and see your experience bar, and you could see how much experience you're getting for each battle and how much experience it's going to take for your character to level up. In this game, here's your bar. How much experience do you get for a kill? How much experience is it to the next level? I'm not getting experience because my level is capped out, of course, but when you're leveling up, how much experience are you getting? How much until you level up? Like, how much HP do you have in a numerical value? Don't know. This many. You have this much bar. Like, it doesn't tell you anything. This right here, this whole section of this menu is 100% pointless. This tells you nothing. Simple shit that anybody who's ever played an RPG or a dungeon crawler before should know to put in their game. And you might be like, okay, well, maybe these guys have just never really made RPGs or made dungeon crawlers or anything like that. Cool, I just got one shot by James Sunderland beating me in the face with a guitar. I love Silent Hill. So yeah, you might be like, oh, maybe these developers just don't have that much experience with making dungeon crawlers or making RPGs, except this game was made by WayForward, who made the Shantae series.
I'm okay staying behind.
Like, they've made good games. The people who made this game should have known better. Even Tom Hewlett, Tom Hewlett, one of his first games as like an independent developer, before he was like really working for Konami or anything like that, pretty much when he was like a teenager, Tom Hewlett started making an RPG called Mithrandi, I think, something like that. But he started making like a high fantasy RPG. Like, and it's better than this. This game is made by people who should have made, by all accounts, as far as like experience as developers and as just people who play video games in general, everyone who worked on this game should have done better. It's just a paycheck, the game. That is ultimately kind of what I think about it. I think they just didn't care. I think at the time that this was being made, Tom Hewlett was getting ready to leave Konami and go and start working full-time for WayForward. So this was kind of like their first real project together before Tom was officially a WayForward employee. And they basically didn't want to make this. Contractually, Konami just sort of handed down, like, we want a new Silent Hill game. Dungeon crawlers are the new hotness. Back in 2010, 2011, when this would have started development. So they're like, okay, dungeon crawlers are the new big hotness. So we want a Silent Hill dungeon crawler. And we've got a contract with PlayStation, with Sony. They want to try and bump up sales numbers for the Vita. So it needs to be a Silent Hill game, it needs to be a dungeon crawler, and it needs to be on the Vita. and it needs to show off all of the features of the Vita. It needs to use the touch screen. It needs to use the rear touch screen. It needs to use all of the Vita specific like hardware. So all of those things were not what the devs wanted. It was just what Konami sort of dropped on them and said, make it work. And I think they just didn't care. I think ultimately Tom was like, fuck it, I'm almost out from having to work at Konami. I've got a more promising future with WayForward. So let's just slap this together, make a paycheck, and then say peace out to Konami. Because there's no way this game could have wound up as bad as it is if the devs didn't just give like half a shit. Like, I can understand not caring wholeheartedly about the project or whatever. But if they would have cared about it even just a little bit, they could have at least made it a fun, mindless dungeon crawler. Like the way certain people try and defend this game and say that it's fine as like a turn your brain off dungeon crawler. Because, for example, for comparison, the Silent Hill arcade game. You know, the Silent Hill arcade game is not a good Silent Hill game. It's an on-rail shooter like House of the Dead. But, like, it's fun. It succeeds at being what it was trying to be. It wasn't trying to be a super serious and canonical entry into the franchise. It was trying to be a fun little spin-off light gun shooter, on-rail shooter. And as an on-rail shooter, it's pretty fun. It's pretty good. It's got a decent, set of recognizable environments and levels and enemies. The gunplay mechanics work fine. The reload mechanics work fine. You get multiple different kinds of weapons to use. There's multiple pathways throughout the arcade game. Like, so you can replay it and make different choices and take different paths and all sorts of different things. Multiple endings. So, like you have a reason to replay it. It's not a great Silent Hill entry from like a story standpoint or anything. But it was never trying to be. It was just trying to be a fun little arcade game. And the arcade game succeeds at that. This does not succeed at being just like a fun little spin-off title. Like, first of all, it takes itself very seriously in terms of the story and the writing. Again, Tom Hewlett himself is on record in interviews talking about this game being like, yep, it's a canonical entry and you should love the story because I wrote it. So, like, already it takes itself too seriously without having the substance to really back that up. And then at the end of the day, like, it's just not a fun game. Like, there's a lot of things that can be bad in a video game and it still be fun. Deadly Premonition. Anybody ever played Deadly Premonition? Deadly Premonition has so many broken, weird, janky, messed up things about it, and it still manages to be a fun game. At the end of the day, it manages to be like a really fun game. Holy candle. With this game, it's just it fails in what a game sets out to be. It's not fun. No aspect of this game is like redeeming. It has 2 good songs on the soundtrack. And that's about it. They tried to fill it up with like fan service. Oh, you can wear a pyramid head. You can put a Mira the dog head on. You can play as Heather. You can play as James. You know, here's all these iconic Silent Hill monsters. Like, they tried to load it up with the fan service, but the substance is just not there. It's so fucking bad. Wonder if he's still contractually obligated to not list Konami as an employer? I don't think Tom was ever not allowed to list Konami as an employer. He lists Konami as a former employer on like his Twitter bio and stuff. Which, by the way, I do want to make it perfectly clear, just because I talk about developers a lot by name. I have absolutely no hate or no ill will or anything towards any game devs. Like, Tom Hewlett and Adam Tierney are great guys. Both of them, which Tom and Adam are the two. Tom wrote for this game, and Adam was the director. I think Tom was also a producer. And like, I've talked to them on Twitter somewhat recently. I put up a thing back in December about getting close to Zone 500, and I tagged Tom Hewlett and Adam Tierney, and both of them responded.
It's good.
They were like, "Yeah, you've got to keep digging, keep going. You're almost at Zone 500. You got to see the rest of the Zone Select art." So like, despite everything, they're good devs. Like, they're good people in general. And I like a lot of their games. I legitimately like a lot of the stuff that they've worked on. River City Girls is an amazing beat 'em up. They also did the, oh my god. Like, they've done a bunch of stuff. They did the Bloodstained, sort of like Castlevania-like games. So many things that they've done that I really enjoy. Which is why it blows my mind that this game is as bad as it is. One of the meta user reviews of this game. Oh god. Oh god. Budak Alto. So this is one of the meta user reviews for this game. The low user score worried me, so I downloaded the demo. I suggest you do the same. This is a fun game. Great graphics and atmosphere. Solid and responsive control. Balanced and addictive gameplay. Creepy and engaging story. Fun customization. It is not like the old Silent Hill games, as you probably know. It is more like Diablo in its play mechanics, so know what you're getting into. My only complaint about the game is the load times. They are not insanely long, but should be shorter. If this were fixed, I would have given it a 9. A 9, dude. Insanely fun. something insane about that person. That's why it's insanely fun.
Cutting straight to business, I see. It's good to be well supplied.
Great graphics and atmosphere. Like how? How do you
I
even...
do believe you're set.
How do you form opinions about this game like that? I legitimately don't understand. Solid and responsive control. The touchscreen shit barely works half the time. Like, you can't interact with menus without fumbling around over the clunky touchscreen shit. And I'm playing this on a PS TV with a PlayStation 4 controller, but I also have played this on the Vita. So like, it's not like, oh, it's better if you play it on the actual hardware and not on a PS TV. Like, it's exactly the fucking same. It's just as bad, if not worse. Pyramid Head, could you please just take damage? Why are you not taking damage? Why are you only taking 9 HP? I mean, I guess because you're bloated and steel. So you're just OP. Alright. This game is what Dungeon Hunter should have been. I don't even know what Dungeon Hunter is. These are more Metacritic reviews. This is a real dungeon crawler game. The frame rate is smooth. What? The music is outstanding. Wah, 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 wah. Wah, 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 wah. The level design is brilliant. The plot is just okay. The brilliant procedurally generated level design. The plot is just okay. But the gameplay is addicting. The multiplayer's even better. Oh yeah, multiplayer's even better. Because when you play multiplayer, you can't even pause the game to like pick up items or do puzzles. Things can attack you and kill you while you're like fumbling around with touch controls to pick up an item out of a drawer. Yeah, super addicting gameplay that's even better with multiplayer. It's a great game that most PS Vita owners should own. I just don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand. I mean, I guess there's just certain things. That's the beauty of human nature, right? Everybody has their own feelings and their own opinions and their own brain chemistry dictating what things they like and dislike. Some people are uncontrollably sexually aroused by fecal matter. Some people get turned on by literal human shit. And I don't understand that either. Like, so I guess somebody being like, yeah, I like this game that is horrible in every way. It's just, some people are fucking built different, man. And like things that most people would not like. Look at this fun, addicting gameplay. Get out of here. Looks like Path of Exile. Why so many people compare this to Path of Exile? I've never played Path of Exile, but I can guarantee you Path of Exile is better in every regard. This game is so scary. Sure is. Or they're on crack. Maybe they're just on some really heavy drugs. They popped in, they powered up their Vita, they popped in Book of Memories, and then smoked a bunch of crack and shot up a bunch of heroin, and then just went on like a crazy drug trip, and they just thought they were playing this game. But they weren't actually playing it. Why do you have a flashlight if you can see everything? Oh no, the flashlight is not to see things. Like, it's not to illuminate the room itself. The flashlight is so you can tell which random pieces of junk in a room contain an item. So like, you see how this is highlighted red? That's because there's an item in there. If you turn your flashlight off, it just looks like any other piece of furniture. That's all the flashlight does. It's not for actual visibility. It is just to highlight what things have items in them. That's it. Isn't that a fun mechanic? And then there's enemies that force your flashlight to be off, so that you can miss, you know, keys and things that are necessary to progress. Hello? PoE is nothing like this, not even close. PoE is dog doo-doo after a while, but the running animation looks exactly like the Shadow class from that game. And the camera angle is exactly the same too. Oh, it's got the like overhead isometric. I mean, the camera angle, it's just an overhead isometric view. Like, lots of games do that. I was, for a while there, I was playing oh god, what's it called? Not Ark. Lost Ark. Lost Ark. Lost Ark does the same kind of camera. If you're looking for a Silent Hill game or a deep RPG on your PS Vita, Book of Memories will only serve to whet your appetite for a title that will deliver. These can't be real. There can't be this many positive reviews. What do you plan to do with your time once you've beaten this one? play new Silent Hill games when they come out. We're supposed to be getting a whole bunch of new Silent Hill games. So right now, this is just kind of like the last thing in all of the Silent Hill games that exist that I have not done, you know? I've beaten every other Silent Hill game in every way imaginable. Like, I've 100%ed everything. I've done deep lore, in-depth playthroughs. I've done speed runs of everything, even like I've played the Pachi slot, you know? I've sat and played the Pachi slot for hours and hours and hours. I've done everything I can possibly do with all of the Silent Hill games that currently exist. Like, look at this bullshit setup. No matter what, you're just running into this room with no opportunity to react. You're just hoping Pyramid Head misses you. Otherwise, you just die immediately running into the first room.
Looking for anything specific?
Will you play RE4 Remake? Of course.
I think I've got just the thing.
Of course. I've played every other Resident Evil game.
Thank you kindly. You know where
That's
I
the thing
am
is,
if you
like,
need me.
I am a Resident Evil fan, just not... the series doesn't intrigue me the way Silent Hill does. The Silent Hill series, at the very least, you know, this one and some others excluded, obviously, have some depth to them that I've always really enjoyed. Resident Evil games, to me, I've enjoyed them. I've played every single one of them, but they're not the kind of games that I've ever really had to, like, think about. They're very surface level survival horror enjoyment. Like, the story is very straightforward. The gameplay and the puzzles are good and fun. The atmosphere and monsters are, like, interesting. But Silent Hill 2 and, like, the original Silent Hill games, even after fucking 20 years, I'll have random thoughts like, oh, what if this is what this means? Or what if this is what that means? Like, I still think about those games and try to figure things out about the Silent Hill games, even after playing them for 20 plus years and deeply researching them. I have new things to think about and learn. And there's a lot of depth. There's a lot of depth to them. Resident Evil games, I play them and, like, they're fine. They're fun. But once I finish a Resident Evil game, there's not, like, mystery, you know? There's not, like, some element of it that you need to really think about more deeply. It's sort of just like... It's like watching a good, you know, action movie. It's enjoyable for what it is, but you're not gonna, like, lose sleep trying to figure it out later on. They're very simple. They're very straightforward. And they're enjoyable, I think, because of that. But I don't obsess over them, you know, the way I do with Silent Hill games. Resident Evil, they just retcon stuff as they see fit. Case in point, Resident Evil 8. I mean, Silent Hill games have no real consistency, even between the like Team Silent games. Like Silent Hill 1, the idea of the otherworld, and Silent Hill 2, the way the otherworld is portrayed is like completely different. Immediately, just in the first two games, there's a lot of differences and discrepancies and retcon stuff. So I mean, it's not like it's a matter of consistency. Silent Hill is not any more consistent than Resident Evil is, as far as story and stuff goes. But I don't know, something about the Silent Hill games is just a lot more cerebral. They're a lot more mentally engaging. Whereas Resident Evil to me has always been a little bit more just like, you don't have to think about most of it. You're more concerned about what things do I need to pick up? What things do I need in my inventory? Like, how am I going to solve this puzzle? You're not sitting there trying to figure out, like, the deep symbolic relationship between Jill Valentine and Chris. Like, no. It's very, very surface level when it comes to, like, characters and story.
Girls just aren't interested in me.
Nope, untrue.
Which is, again, not a bad thing. It's not a complaint.
You're a good guy.
It's not what those games set out to be. But it's just, it's a series that, even though I'm a big fan of it, it doesn't capture me the same way Silent Hill does.
Cute. Maybe you're right, though. Things are supposed to be different in college.
Some people's brains just melt when they play any game from a franchise they love. Only other plausible explanation is that they're shilling. Oh, talking about like people who the positive reviews for this game. I don't know. I fucking love the Silent Hill games straight up to a problematic, obsessive level. And even I am like, this game is shit. I can understand, you know, loving a franchise so much that even stuff that is pretty bad, you kind of are more forgiving. But I don't know. I've always been a little bit more, I guess, harshly critical of media. Like when I play games, when I watch movies, there's a lot of things that, I don't know, catch my attention that a lot of other people would probably just not even pay attention to. Because if you're just kind of like sitting and enjoying something and not being too harshly critical of it, then your standards, you know, and your expectations and stuff are a lot easier to meet. Which is kind of where I'm at with Resident Evil. Like, even Resident Evil games that I didn't like so much, like Resident Evil 6. I'm not a fan of Resident Evil 6 at all. But I'm not a big enough I guess like an obsessive Resident Evil fan who might pick apart every last little aspect and detail of Resident Evil 6 and very, very clearly define like why they don't like it or why it's bad. To me, I'm just like, it's not fun. It's not as fun as Resident Evil 5 or, you know, Resident Evil 4 or whatever. Like, Resident Evil is one of those series where I'm way less critical of it. So I'm easier to please when it comes to that series. There's a lot of people already who I know are like super diehard Resident Evil 4 fans that are not looking forward to Resident Evil 4 Remake. And they're already complaining about things that have been changed in RE4 Remake. I am not that person. I am like, cool. The graphics look neat. You know? The same way there's going to be a lot of people who are much more casual Silent Hill fans when the Silent Hill 2 remake comes out, that are just going to be like, cool, it's Silent Hill 2, but with better graphics. And I'm going to be the asshole over here, like, I don't like the way he sounds when he breathes. This game is unplayable. You know? I'm going to be the one who's obsessing about those little details and much harder to please when it comes to, like, Silent Hill stuff. Whereas Resident Evil, my expectations are so low that I'm a very easily pleased Resident Evil fan. Yo, Krypton, thank you so much for the 30 months. There's a lot of love and support. Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. Hope you're doing well. Happy New Year. Look, everybody, it's the Wood Guardian. Look at this spectacular enemy design and amazing graphics for this PlayStation Vita game that everyone who has a Vita should have this game. Wood Guardian. A lot of people, you ask, who's your favorite Silent Hill monster? People say Pyramid Head and Nurse. Where's my Wood Guardian stands? No, I don't want to. All I want to do is pick up a note. This is what I was talking about earlier. All I want to do is pick up a note. And we have to fumble around with this clunky ass stupid touchscreen UI to pick up a thing, move it, drop it, and then go back and pick up a note. Because they didn't think of having, like, again, Dark Souls. You just have a switch function button. If there's an item on top of a message, you can switch what your button will do if you read the message or pick up the item. This doesn't have that. Because it's just slapped together shitty UI. They had to make something work utilizing the Vita touchscreen. And this was all they cared about. Slapping together. They're like, that's good enough. Ugh. Ugh. What's up, Meep? Team Water Guardian. Fuck Water Guardian. Yeah, Zone 436. Team Flesh Monster? Oh, you mean Blood Guardian? You mean the Blood Mama? The soundtrack is amazing. What was it? Hang on, what was it they said? I gotta go back. The music is outstanding. That's what it was. I'm going back and reading the positive reviews that Blackout was posting in chat. The music is outstanding. There we go. Imagine enjoying Akira Yamaoka. You think Theme of Laura is good music? You think Promise is good music? You plebeian, you absolute swine. You want outstanding music? Look no further than Book of Memories on the Vita. With soundtrack by the late great Daniel Leaked. He did the soundtrack for the TV show Dexter. It's so balanced. Look how balanced and fun this is. What was the comment about balance? Balanced and addictive gameplay. Oh yeah, and Hellraiser Bloodlines. Daniel Leaked also composed the score for Hellraiser 10 or 9. No, Bloodlines. Bloodlines was 4. That addictive and balanced gameplay. I really love having a level cap on my character and that the game scales indefinitely based on zone number rather than player level, so that 90% of the enemies in the game can just one-shot you. Oh my god, this balanced and addictive gameplay and outstanding music is just too much for me, man. I'm just being overwhelmed with how good this game is right now. Oh, and the bogeyman is broken. He's broken now. He's actually glitched out to where he will permanently always be shooting this beam that will just kill me. This level is actually fucked. I'm done. Damn, it's still too early. I don't have people online to switch games yet. I'm not doing this though. We're re-rolling this zone. It's actually broken now. Like, I won't be able to progress because of that bogeyman, that one enemy glitching out. You need a very high IQ to understand Silent Hill Book of Memories. The writing is extremely subtle, and without a solid grasp of theoretical physics, most of the writing will go over a typical player's head. The fans understand this stuff. They have the intellectual capacity to truly appreciate the depths of this dialogue, realize that it's not just good. They say something deep about life. As a consequence, people who dislike Silent Hill Book of Memories truly are idiots. Can we make this a command? That's not a real comment, though. That's a shit post that's been edited. I've seen the very high IQ shit post before. That's not a real one. Some of the ones that Burak Auto posted earlier were quote unquote legit. Switch games, Dead by Daylight? Nah. We're gonna re-random, and in about 15 minutes, Jubes should be home. Yami, I'm assuming you're home and off work, and you're down. Are you down for Back for Blood tonight? That review was written from inside Alchemilla Hospital. You mean Brookhaven? Alchemilla is the medical hospital. Brookhaven is the mental hospital. And then you've also got Cedar Grove, Oak Grove Sanitarium. Cedar Grove. Oak Grove? The one from Origins. Cedar Grove. Yeah. I should remember that. Because I hate it and I'm allergic to cedar. That should be easy for me to remember. But my brain has been deteriorating. It's getting harder and harder to keep information straight in my head. One of those scary things about getting older. I'm not even that old. I'm about to be 35. In like 10 days. No, 9 days. And things that I was once very confidently able to remember are now harder and harder to recall. What zone did you start on today? I honestly don't even remember. $431? 30. Like I said, my brain's deteriorating. Go watch the VOD. Watch the start of the VOD. I don't fucking know. I don't pay attention. I can't recall things using my brain anymore. This music is wiping my memory. I mean, that's the thing, like, this game, it all just, especially when you've been playing it as long as I have, it all just runs together. Like, there's nothing unique or significant from zone to zone. Not to mention all the times where I get, like, basically next to impossible shit and have to re-roll a zone. Did you disable channel points for any reason in particular? I have not had channel points. You must be confusing me with somebody else? Do I look like your girlfriend? But yeah, I've never had channel points. I never enabled them. I came very close to enabling them. And, yeah. Anybody who's never heard that story, we were actually talking about it a couple of days ago when, my good friend Hirimi was streaming. We were talking about it in his chat. But I was going to do channel points in 2019. In 2019, me and Hirimi started brainstorming because Hirimi does art. Hirimi is an artist and does a lot of really awesome stuff. And was doing some artwork for me as far as like channel points. And I was like, we need like little channel point icons. Channel points could be a fun thing. And I was looking at starting it. Yo, Marvelous Miscreant. Welcome back. Thank you so much for the resub. Thank you, thank you. But, so yeah. I started brainstorming with Hirimi about potential artwork and stuff for enabling channel points. This was back in 2019. And we brainstormed a couple different ideas. We were like, oh, we could have this, we could have that. We could have it where people sit and collect like body parts. You know, like zombie body parts rotting off. The more you watch the channel, the more body parts you get, and the more fingers you get, and the more eyeballs you get. And we were like, no, that's not good, that's not good. And then eventually, keep in mind, this is at the tail end of 2019, we were like, what about infection? What about like a virus infection like in Resident Evil? The longer you hang out in the Nub Zombie chat, the more infected you get, and you build up virus points. And that would be the channel points. And Hirimi was like, oh, that's great. I'll do some artwork. And he put together artwork of little, like, cartoon, you know, stylized viruses under a microscope. This was in 2019. This is before COVID hit. So we put together the artwork. We finished the artwork. We had the icons and everything ready to go, and we were still just trying to figure out like what we would have the point redemptions be. And then a couple months later, fucking COVID happens. And I was like, you know what? Maybe virus points. Maybe infection is not the theme we should go with for my channel points. And I just kind of took it as a sign to not do channel points in my channel. But I mean, like, we had it ready. It was literally, the art and everything was about to go live. And I was ready to enable channel points, and then COVID hit. And I was like, oh. Yeah, that's probably not gonna... That's not gonna be a good idea. So yeah, I was just like, you know what? I've always enjoyed keeping my channel very straightforward. The feeling that I've always wanted to capture when it comes to my stream is sitting down on a couch with a friend, playing a game, and talking. Like, before Twitch was a thing, and before like streaming and all of that was a thing, that was my experience as a Silent Hill fan. Was like sitting down with my friends and being like, oh, you've never played Silent Hill 4? Let's sit down and play it and talk about it while we play it. And it would just be me and my friends sitting around bullshitting, playing a game while we sit and talk together on the couch. So that has always been the sort of vibe that I want for my stream channel. Like, I didn't want it to be, you know, some people want it to be like a game show. You know, some people want to be very game show host in their energy and be like, hey, you're here, welcome, come on down. You know, spin the wheel and big crazy alerts that distract from everything going off every 3 seconds. Yeah, high energy, which is fine. A lot of people like that, and a lot of people want to do that. That's not what I want. That's not how I want my channel to feel. I want my channel to feel like, you know, you're just chilling with a friend playing a video game. So that's why I don't have like a layout or anything. For my stream is usually just the video game. That's all you see on the screen. No stuff blocking the game, not even like a webcam obscuring part of the screen, because then if you're sitting and staring at my reactions on the webcam, you know, you can miss stuff that's happening in the game, or stuff that's being explained or talked about. So I've just always preferred like the more chill vibe. And I think channel points, going back to the original kind of topic, I think channel points take way, you know, they take way too much away from that vibe. Because then you gotta like stop what you're doing if there's things being redeemed, and or ignore it altogether, in which case why even have it in the first place? Or it's something that causes like a sound or an image or, you know, something to pop up that is just ultimately like distracting. Did you save the emotes? Will we ever see them as the channel grows and you get slots? Like the channel point icons and stuff? Yeah, Hirimi still has them. I don't think we'll ever use them for anything though. Like, if we manage to unlock more emote slots, I would rather just make more, or I say make, I'm not artistically inclined like that. I would rather commission more good emotes rather than just use, you know, little cartoon coronaviruses. Hirimi does still have them. But yeah, I don't think I'd ever use them for anything. Wouldn't have it any other way. This is the nub from 2015 that I remembered too. Thanks, Mike. You're still the Afro Mike that I have always known and loved since 2015 as well. Because, I mean, I've definitely grown a lot as a channel and as a streamer since I first started. But yeah, I feel like the vibe that I've tried to capture for my channel has never really strayed too far from like what I want, you know, what I initially wanted. Huh? Am I not? Okay. Useless. Fucking useless. More dedicated emote slots make sense. Yeah. Technically right now, I already do have emote slots. There's emotes that we're using that I had really only planned on being like temporary placeholders. It's just that emotes, they're expensive. When you can't make them yourself, and I am not good at making them myself. So it's a lot when it comes time to commission things. And I have not been able to afford that kind of stuff. Because the main thing is like, I've managed to, I think, keep the same chill vibe, like sitting on a couch with a friend playing a game and talking kind of vibe. I've managed to maintain that for a long time, but I also set a really high expectation for my channel early on. And I think I've lost a lot of support over the years because, like, I don't do 24-hour marathons anymore, or when I do, it's very, very rare. or I don't do nearly as many in-depth story playthroughs anymore, because like I've just been doing this for so long. Doing a 24-hour marathon 8 years ago, you know, as like somebody in their mid-20s, or doing like an 18-hour playthrough of Silent Hill 2 as like a 20-something-year-old, versus doing it now, almost 35. Like, I literally can't stream the way that I used to. And my channel's lost a lot of support because of that, because people wanted that expectation was so high. People were always expecting like story playthrough every week, and you know, 24-hour marathon like every other week or every month. And then as I started getting older, my health kind of got worse, and I wasn't able to like maintain that expectation. I lost a lot of support from people, so I don't make as much money as I used to streaming. So when it comes time to like commission emotes and stuff like that, man, it's hard. It's hard to make that stuff work. A lot harder now than it was, you know, back then. But again, that's all on me. That's unfortunately just kind of the nature of Twitch. Like, it's very, very difficult to stay relevant and to maintain an audience over this many years. I'm very thankful that I even have anybody here watching, because a lot of people don't, you know, have the, oh my god, just fucking sit there, just get on the thing. Yeah, a lot of people, you know, strive to hit any kind of level of success on Twitch, but then yeah, maintaining it is a whole nother thing. And yeah, that's the thing. I've been partnered since 2017. I've been doing Silent Hill since 2015, which is when my channel initially started to grow. And I've been streaming on Twitch in general since 2011. So things just change and evolve and are different, like, and it's a lot harder for me at this point in my life to do what I was doing, you know, 5 years ago or 8 years ago. And unfortunately, I've also sort of set up the expectation of being the Silent Hill guy. So I don't really have the opportunity to like shift into other things. Like I can't suddenly just be like, I'm a variety streamer now. We're playing, you know, Animal Crossing. We're playing Final Fantasy 11. You know, I can't really do that, because then people who only care about my channel for Silent Hill content go away, and you know, the channel just sort of suffers because of that, at least from like a viewership and subscriber standpoint. So I don't know, it's really weird. There's a lot of conflicting feelings and emotions when it comes to Twitch. Like, I'm super thankful to be able to be here on Twitch and have anybody watching and giving a shit about what I do, regardless of money or subs. Like, I'm happy just that people enjoy what I do. But I also, you know, am torn. Like, I wish I could do more. I wish I could do whatever I want and still have the same level of support. But realistically, I just can't. And the alternative is to just basically be like, okay, I get myself a regular 9-to-5 job again. In which case, again, I'm in my mid-30s. Like, I would still stream, but it would be really, really few and far between. Like, definitely not full time. Maybe a couple times a month, you know, at best. If I was working a regular job to make ends meet. So it's like, what do you do at that point? Do you do the thing that got you some success in the first place and just keep doing it, even if it's not necessarily, you know, what you always want to do? Or do I just stream whatever the fuck I want and get a day job and not treat Twitch like a job anymore? In which case, streams just basically go down to, you know, a couple times a month. That's how Twitch is. Switching categories doesn't seem like a good strat. Yeah. That's kind of the nature of things. And I always sort of think of that too, because that's not just Twitch. That's entertainment in general. Before I started really streaming on Twitch, I was a musician. And being a musician, you can understand the exact same thing sort of happens. Like, if you are a professional musician and you get known for a particular genre of music, no matter how big you are, it is almost impossible to suddenly shift gears. Like Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg is one of the biggest and most successful musicians of all time. And for a little while there, he was like, I'm going to start making reggae music, and I'm Snoop Lion now. And you know what happened? He immediately went back to being Snoop Dogg because nobody gave a shit. Nobody cared. Nobody supported Snoop Lion. Nobody wanted reggae music from Snoop Dogg. They wanted Snoop Dogg. Entertainment is just like that. Like, once you kind of get known for something, once people are entertained by something that you do, it is so hard to break away from it into something else. Or even if you're a musician and you don't even change like genres, even just, okay, you know, you want to play some songs off your new album, your new experimental album or whatever, but you're at a concert, you know, you got to play the hits. You got to play what people know you for. Even if it's the same song that you've played millions of times. You gotta fucking do it. You gotta play Freebird, you know, or whatever. I don't know. The entertainment is a harsh, brutal thing to get into. Especially like Twitch. because I never really, starting off with Twitch, like, it wasn't something where I ever sat down and was like, I'm gonna be successful. I'm gonna grind out every day. I'm gonna stream this many hours, and I'm gonna do all this stuff, and I'm gonna network, and I'm gonna rub elbows, and I'm gonna become the next, you know, big Twitch streamer. It was never something that I like set out to be successful with. It was something that I did for fun. From 2011 to 2015, it was just something that I like did for fun. Me and my friends would jump on. We would play a bunch of Dreamcast games or random shit to like 1 or 2 viewers at most. And that was my entire Twitch streaming experience for the first 4 years. Then in 2015, I had gotten more into speedrunning. And I decided, like, hey, I love the Silent Hill games. I've gotten into speedrunning. I'm going to start speedrunning Silent Hill 2. And suddenly, other Silent Hill 2 speedrunners started coming by my channel and started bringing their communities over to my channel. So all of a sudden, after 4 years of streaming to like 2 people max, I was streaming to 10 people, and then 15 people, and then 20 people, and then 30 people. And it just started kind of growing and growing to a point where
Those memories, why
by 2017,
see you again.
I just got murdered while talking to Howard. It's the fucking raw shot. And I can't kill it because my weapons are all about to break. Oh, it's okay. We're past 11. I still don't see Jubes online.